Chapter 1. William Trundle. This is William Trundle. There's something you should know about William. William liked dinosaurs. Actually, he didn't just like them, he loved them. In fact, he loved them so much, I should probably write it in big letters like this. William loved dinosaurs. William had, sorry, William had dinosaur pajamas, dinosaur socks, dinosaur pants, a dinosaur-shaped toothbrush, dinosaur wallpaper, two dinosaur posters, a dinosaur lampshade, and more dinosaur toys than he could fit into a bag for life. But if there was one thing William knew for sure, it was that you could never have too many dinosaur toys. William lived in a wonky little house on the edge of a busy town, on the edge of a busier city. But even though the house was small, it never really felt that way because only two people lived in it, William and his dad, Bob Trundle. Now, I bet you're wondering why William didn't have a mom. Well, of course, he did have a mom once, but sadly, she died a long time ago. When William was very young, so it had been just William and Mr. Trundle for as long as William could remember. As well as dinosaurs, William loved Christmas, but not half as much as his dad did. Mr. Trundle loved Christmas so much that whenever Christmas Day was over, he would sob uncontrollably for a whole week, sometimes until the end of January, desperately clinging to Christmas. He even had a secret Christmas tree hidden in his closet. The tree was permanently decorated, and it lit up when he opened the door to get his clothes. Each morning, as Mr. Trundle got dressed, he would look at his secret tree and say to himself, "Each day we move away from last Christmas is one day closer to the next." It was these words that got him through the year. On this particular morning, though, Mr. Trundle was feeling very merry indeed, because it was the 1st of December. "Time to get ready for school, Willy Poos," Mr. Trundle called from the kitchen as he spread butter on two steaming hot crumpets, Mr. Trundle's favorite breakfast. William rolled his eyes at the silly nickname his dad used for him, Willy Poos. "Dad, you can't keep calling me that. I'm 7 3/4. It's embarrassing," William shouted from his bedroom as he stuffed his school bag full of books. "I thought we'd agree that I can call you Willy Poos when you're not at school. You can't go changing the rules willy-nilly, Willy Poos," Mr. Trundle teased as he walked into his son's bedroom. "Happy 1st of December." Mr. Trundle beamed as he placed a breakfast tray down on William's desk and nodded his head excitedly at a rectangular object perched perfectly next to the plate of golden crumpets. William followed his gaze and saw that it was a chocolate-filled advent calendar. "Thanks, Dad. Where's yours?" asked William. Every year, William and Mr. Trundle would each have an advent calendar and open a new door together every morning before school. It was a Trundle tradition. William thought he saw a flicker of sadness on Mr. Trundle's face, which was quickly replaced by a smile. "I thought it might be fun to share one this year, William," Mr. Trundle said. Lately, they'd been sharing a lot of things, as Mr. Trundle didn't have very much money, but William didn't mind. "Oh, okay," he said. "I'll open the door and you can have first chocolate, Dad." How about I open the door and you have the first chocolate, William? Mr. Trundle suggested. Thanks, Dad, William said, grinning. He secretly hoped his dad would say that. As he quickly snapped a photo of the two of them. Ah, that'll make a lovely Christmas card this year, he said, admiring the photograph. It was another Trundle tradition to take a photograph on the 1st of December for the Christmas cards they would send to a long list of their distant relatives. Auntie Kim on the Isle of Wight, Great Nana Joan, who looked like a witch, cousins Lily and Joe, Auntie Julie, second cousin Sam, Uncle H. Trundle, Great Grandpa Ken. It was a long list, half of whom William had never met. "Let us soon," said Mr. Trundle as he peeled open the first door on the advent calendar. William took out the small snowman-shaped chocolate, but suddenly he didn't feel like eating it. "My dear boy, what on earth's the matter?" asked Mr. Trundle. "Well, it's just that I don't think Santa can bring me what I want this year," said William, staring longingly at the dinosaur poster on his wall. "I'm pretty sure the elves can't make real dinosaurs." "Make?" repeated Mr. Trundle as he took a knowing sip of his cup of tea. "The elves don't make anything at all." William looked very confused. "But I thought Santa's elf made all the presents at the North Pole," he said. "Pah!" cried Mr. Trundle, spitting out a mouthful of tea. "Well, William, I'm afraid that's all just a big pile of poppycock, fiddle-faddle, mouth-waffling, gibbery-faff nonsense. Whoever told you that that is a complete nobly plank? Make presents. Ha! Would you like me to tell you how elves really worked, William?" he asked, a sudden sparkle in his eyes. "Oh, please do, Dad," William cried, and made himself comfortable. He always loved it when his dad told him stories. Mr. Trundle was very good at them, and he was particularly good at Christmas stories, for, as you already know, he loved everything about Christmas. He knew all there was to know about Santa, the elves, and the North Pole. Even ever since he was a little boy himself, it had been his favorite time of year, and he would always be the first person to start celebrating Christmas. One year, he'd put up their Christmas tree in July, which had really annoyed the neighbors. William had loved it. "Well, the first thing you should know is that elf hands are far too small to build any decent sort of toy, and on top of that, they only have 3 fingers." "3 fingers? No way," William said, making funny shapes with his own hands, trying to imagine he had 3 elf fingers. "How small are elves, Dad?" he asked. "Very small, William. Looking at an elf is like looking at a human through a pair of binoculars. If you were holding them the wrong way around," Mr. Trundle explained. "Oh, wow," said William, who knew exactly what he meant. "No, the elves aren't toy makers at all," Mr. Trundle went on. "There are only 2 jobs that the North Pole elves are good at: farming and mining. Let me tell you how it works, my boy. First, Santa receives letters from girls and boys from all around the world, just like you, William, asking for all different sorts of Christmas presents. Santa then sits by his fireplace in his rocking chair and reads every letter aloud. Not in his head, William. William nodded, listening intently. "This is very important, William, because in his letter reading room there is a very old, very crooked, very magical Christmas tree. If you saw it, you would probably think it was dead twig in a plant pot, but it is very important. It was the very first Christmas tree that ever lived, and it's still alive, and now it sits and listens to Santa read." "A tree that listens, really, Dad?" questioned William at this rather absurd sounding fact. Of course, all trees listen, William. Why do you think they're so quiet all the time? They're listening, of course, said Mr. Trundle, making perfect sense. As Santa reads the letters aloud, the old crooked magical Christmas tree sprouts bunches of very peculiar looking bean pods. Bean pods? Cried William. What on earth are bean pods? They are magical Christmas bean pods, William, and Santa picks these odd pods and gives them to the farmer elves. The farmer elves boils them in a pot until the Christmas beans pop out. These beans are very large with red and white swirls. If you ate one, William, it would taste so delicious that your eyes would cry rainbows and then fall right out of your head. So they are never to be eaten. William nodded and made a mental note never to eat a Christmas bean. The farmer elves then take the beans out to the purest white snowfields and plant them deep in the cold, powdery snow. When they're finished, all the elves gather together and wait for a sign. While they wait, they sing a song. Mr. Trundle cleared his throat and started singing the most peculiar elf song in his best elf voice. We're waiting for a sign. It's taking so much time. Hurry up, you silly Christmas beans. We want to go inside. Our boogies feel like icicles. Where is this silly sign? Hurry up, you slowpoke Christmas beans. It's nearly Christmas time. Wow, said William. The elves really sing that song? Every year, said Mr. Trundle. Then eventually, when the timing is just right, the sky above the North Pole lights up in a wash of glorious dancing colors. The Northern Lights, yelled William. I've seen them on TV. That's right, son. The beautiful Northern Lights. That's the sign they wait for. That's when the mining elves go to work. And what do the mining elves do? Asked William. I'll tell you, my lad, said Mr. Trundle happily. They dig, dig, diggity, dig under the snowfields and into the ice below, which is as thick as our house and as clear as glass, William. They aren't mining for diamond or gold, though. They are digging for toys. The Christmas beans have worked their magic into the snow, where huge, twisty, winding roots grow downward into the ice. And it is there, William, entwined inside these frozen roots, that all the toys for the girls and boys around the world come from. They grow in the ice, made by the Christmas beans that came from the Christmas tree that listened to Santa reading your letters. Mr. Trundle finished. Wow, said William. Wow, indeed, William. So now you know how elves work, said Mr. Trundle. And now you know how elves work too. And it's true because it's in a book.